Hey folks, welcome back to the Engineered Angler. If you haven't been on this channel before, welcome. And if you have and you're enjoying this stuff, certainly subscribe. Last video I did on getting a two-color soft plastic lure, and I had a little side experiment going where I was sort of putting a faux gold like that, gold-like finish on lures, and I had one in the UV chamber setting up. And this is it right here after a little simple paint job. I call this a gold chrome green top, and you can see I leave the belly chrome and then I sort of slowly turn it to gold on the side. I'm going to show you the couple of techniques that I've found to get that faux gold finish. If you're interested in it, stick around. So to get a gold finish, you first have to start with a really reflective chrome finish or silver finish. And this one started off with a Spastics chrome spray paint. But you'll remember a while back, and I'll put a little link to it right here, that we did some experiments with Spastics and the Krylon Looking Glass spray chrome. So there's a couple of techniques for applying this, and there's a couple of actual materials to turn chrome into gold, and they're both pretty simple, and depending on what you like to do best, you'll have to choose between them. So when I first started to silver plate lures, while I was learning the technique, I was watching a lot of videos and contacting the manufacturer, and I saw that part of the attraction to putting silver plate on an object, people were doing helmets, you know, fenders on motorcycles. Part of that attraction was being able to turn it gold, and they did that really simply by adding a transparent finish that was gold tinted, or actually yellow orangey tinted. And little by little I developed different techniques. I didn't want to use a two-part epoxy. I didn't want to use a two-part spray automotive sort of clear coat. So I was trying to keep it simple. My first technique was to use transparent Createx paint, and I experimented a little bit with yellows, some oranges, but I happened upon this color, and this color is called Sunrise Yellow, and you can see it's an orange color, but when it goes on it looks like gold. I mean, this is as close as I've been able to find to an actual gold finish. Spraying this stuff on gives you the ability to feather the effect so that you can have a chrome on the bottom and a gold finish sort of fading off in the center of the lure. It looks really cool. There's a lot of commercially made lures that have that kind of effect, and it looks real good, and it's pretty effective in the water. The other technique to put a finish on is to brush it on. I think brushing it on gives you a little less sort of creative control, but it works, and you can do nice hard lines if you want to. Brushing it on also gives you the option of using a two-part epoxy. So you can take your clear coat resin, it has to be water clear, and tint it with a resin pigment that's transparent. Let me show you what I use. I use the product from Lumelite. It's a resin dye. It's just yellow. It looks almost exactly, if you're looking through the bottle, almost exactly like this color. And tinting the clear coat makes it easy to do a full gold body. So you just clear coat it like you would any other lure with any other clear coat, and you end up with a full body of gold. So let me go ahead and stop talking, and we'll do a couple of examples. Instead of using a lure that I've chromed, because I haven't had time to silver plate any lures lately, I'm going to use these big ladle spoons. You can see they're super reflective. So let's start with the Createx transparent paint, and I'll do what I normally do with a lure, and I'm going to go ahead and start from the top and let it feather out, so you can see how it goes gold, deep gold on top, feathers to a chrome on the bottom, and you can get a feel for the effect that you can actually get. So let's get to it. I've got some here that's been pre-thinned. Let me go ahead and use this. All right, let's go for it. Right, so here's the initial finish. This looks kind of flat and dull, but that's only because there's no clear coat on it. So I'm going to give it one more light coat, and then I'm going to coat it with some polyacrylic. That's a water-based clear coat. While I'm doing the other samples, I'll give this a clear coat with UV clear, and you'll see how good it looks afterwards. So I want to show you that that gold is not the only hue you can go for. You can actually get a copper look and a kind of a brassy look just by using a couple different colors. So I'm going to do the very top in the gold, since that's in the gun already. I'll do the middle in copper kind of tone, and then the bottom in a brassier look. Okay, so there's the gold. The copper will be done with just straight up transparent orange. This is just 5119 orange. So let's go ahead and just get this in the gun and get that center stripe in copper. Again, these look kind of opaque and a little bit flat, but they'll change when they're clear coated. The next one is the brassy look, and that really is just using a bright transparent yellow. 5114 from Createx, and it's called Bright Yellow. Alright, let's get a clear coat on these guys so you can see what it's really going to look like. Alright, so let's get into the next technique, and that's actually using the clear coat to add the gold. And that means tinting the clear coat. I'm using the Lumalite yellow dye. So the critical part here is the ratio for mixing it. You can experiment a little bit if you want to and decide how yellow you want it. The more intense the yellow, the more orangey the gold looks. So I'll give you my formula. It's pretty straightforward. I use 1 drop of this dye for every gram of fluid of mixed clear coat. So that's pretty bright yellow. You can cut back a little bit on that if you want to. So since I'm going to do this with a brush, and then I'll show you how I'll do it by spraying on, I'm going to use the UV clear because I've already got it mixed and I don't want to have to wait 20 hours for that to set. So I'm going to go ahead and use this and brush on this clear coat, and it's already stained with the gold and it's stained at that 1 drop per gram ratio. So let's go ahead and give this a shot. I'm going to just go from the very center and do this side with the brush, and then we'll do the other side with a thinned down version and the airbrush. I'll go ahead and just draw a line. Right, so you can see that this has a very mild gold look to it. So that's the gold you'll get with 1 drop per gram. Right, so the next technique is to spray on the clear coat already tinted. I'm going to continue to use the UV clear coat because it's just a little easier to work with, especially with the time constraint of a video. But you can do this with any clear coat that you feel comfortable thinning out for spraying. So I'm going to pour out a little bit in this cup, just enough to spray paint that spoon. And remember, you're going to have to thin it. I'm using denatured alcohol or ethanol, and I'm using it because it doesn't evaporate as fast as the acetone, and I need a little time to spray this. So my mixing ratio is going to be 1:1. I'll blend this up. One of the really nice things about using UV clear is that I'm not worried that this thing's going to set up anytime soon. And for cleaning the gun out, it really makes it so much easier. I'm not in a rush, and the resin isn't working against me. It won't set up unless it's exposed to UV, and so I can take my time and clean it out really well. It's pretty thin. Here's what it looks like brushed on. You can see half of it has a nice bright gold finish on it, and the other half is chrome. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and spray paint it from the tip towards the handle and sort of feather in the gold so it ends up really bright gold at the tip and chromy gold at the handle. Okay, so I got a lot of blemishes and I've got some dust and stuff in there from I stirred up the dust, but you'll get the idea. I'll go ahead and put this in the UV chamber and get this to set up, and you'll see what it looks like. Okay, so we have our results. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong, but actually we ended up okay. And there's some flaws in this, but nothing horrendous. So first, let's take a look at the first one we did, which is the gold from the Createx, that sunrise paint. You can see that it's chrome near the bottom and deeply gold near the top. That's a really nice effect, especially on a lure. So the next one was the tinted clear coat. Unfortunately, I had a few problems with the airbrush. It was starting to crap out of me. I had some stuff in the tip. So again, you can see the gold on top. It's a little less deep, a little less orangey. And as you go in this direction, it's chrome. And you can see from this point back, it also turns to chrome. And this is the part I sprayed, and this is the part I brushed on. Now, this one was almost a complete disaster. I had some issues with the clear coat and issues with the paint itself. Let me show you what happened on this. So on this one, the intention was to get a gold finish on top, in the middle a copper, kind of a polished copper pot finish, and then a real brassy look down here. This paint apparently went bad. It's transparent bright yellow, but apparently went bad because it's very opaque. I opened another bottle, and let me show you what it looks like. And you can see compared to this deeper gold color, it is kind of brassy and yellow. But it still looks pretty cool. Or look from that orange paint is usually a little better. I think that paint is going bad too. I don't use those two colors very much. You can do this either with Createx paint, which gives you a pretty nice finish, or by tinting your clear coat. Tinting the clear coat really gives you the most brilliant finish, but it's also a little more difficult to control. And as you continue to use chrome bases for your lures, these tricks really add another layer of interest to your paint jobs. So thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, certainly comment and offer up any suggestions you want to offer up. I'm going fishing. I'll see you later. Catch you on the next video.